Hello, everybody. My guest today is Travis Stephenson, and he's a software entrepreneur and marketing coach that specializes in all things Facebook and Instagram. He's been at it for 8 years on his own, and now is finally branching into a real SaaS platform for the long term called Chatmatic. Travis, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, absolutely. Excited to be here.
All right, man. So tell us about Chatmatic. What does it do, and how does it make money?
So simply put, it takes advantage of Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger 2016 March announced that they were allowing chatbots and messenger bots, and it sounds incredibly complicated on the surface. And so what we did was we made a SaaS that allows you to take advantage of all of the capabilities without having to be a programmer, developer, understand code. So we just make it really, really simple. And then to take it to the next level, we're also building in automations. So if you come to us and say, hey, I've got a YouTube channel, how does Messenger help my YouTube channel? We've got automations that are built into YouTube. So when you upload a new video, your Messenger subscribers are going to get a link to that video automatically. So we've got these automations for things like receipts for Infusionsoft, and we're working on other, shopping cart providers and whatnot. But essentially, we're trying to make it to where you can take your funnels that you normally would do on your own and bring them into Messenger, but make that easy and conversational.
And give me a general sense of kind of the customer type you're working with. Are they paying you $10 a month, $20? What's the average customer paying?
It all ranges. So right now, we just got done with an early, what I call alpha stage release, where we released basically it's a minimum version of the product, and it doesn't have all the features set. And so when we actually release, basically what we're going to do is to kind of stir up the market a little bit, at least. We're going to have flat yearly accounts with unlimited subscribers. So
okay, so are you pre-revenue today then?
Yeah, we've actually already done right now. We've done about 1.5 million in sales in our alpha stage. And so
broken down by what? Is that like how many customers paying what amount of money?
It's anywhere between $697 and, well, actually we have a $97 a month account that people could take advantage of, going all the way up to $997. But we're ranging right around 1,800 to 2,000-ish customers. Nothing big, but again, we didn't really want to roll it out too big in pre-launch. So
you said about 2,000 customers and total revenue is 1.1?
Yeah, 1.4.
1.4. Now, how did you drive those sales? There's a lot of entrepreneurs that would love to have those kinds of pre-sales before they're fully launched.
Most of it's Facebook. I mean, a good majority of it came from Facebook. Obviously, I've got relationships with other marketers who have, lists that are also in the same space. So there's some of that joint venture, but the majority of it, is coming in from Facebook, mostly Facebook ads via webinars.
Travis, when you see, how do you find a partner, and maybe can you name one or two, and how do you convince them to market for you?
Yeah, it really just comes down to making sure that your product is in line with theirs. I've had a lot of relationships going back to 7, 8, 9 years ago when I was in all kinds of different spaces. So I used to run a CPA network, and that obviously led me to the affiliate marketing space. So I had relationships with affiliate marketers. That then took me into obviously most of my relationships come from going to live events, everything from affiliate summit, traffic and conversion, like real affiliate marketing events.
So what kickback are you paying? We're talking 50%, 10%?
Yeah, so usually in this stage, because it's a flat fee, I'm going 50% down to about 30% on upfront sales to any affiliates or anybody who brings me in. But honestly, if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to go that route, my biggest suggestion is everybody always hates the idea of giving away revenue right out the gate. What I did was I used those joint venture partners to build up an audience, basically to feed my pixel for Facebook, feed my pixel for YouTube. And then you take that audience, you create lookalikes, and now you have amazing startup audiences for Facebook ads, for YouTube ads. And it makes it way easier than just having to jump in and go at it cold. So
now the 1.4 million you brought in, is this recurring annually, or was one time for life?
No, I'd say probably right now our recurring is around 45 to 50%. What we did was
45 to 50% of what?
Was one time. What's that?
45 to 50% of what?
45 to 50% of our revenue is recurring either yearly or monthly. The rest of it's going to be a flat fee for a set amount of features that they got at that time.
Okay, but it's a flat, that's what I'm saying. Is it a flat fee for life or for a year?
For a year.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get at. Are you expecting them to then pay that, whatever that is, again at the end of 12 months?
Yeah, well, so it's kind of up to them. The people who ended up getting into those programs, they're going to have an option to upgrade, but they wouldn't upgrade at that same cost. They would upgrade at lower cost, obviously, as being one of the first ones in. And so technique there was straight up like I knew that the software itself was going to cost multiple six figures or high six figures to build into completion. And at least with the team and the way that I wanted to do it versus my competition. And, being a Silicon Valley guy, the private funding space is something so foreign to me. So what I did instead was, let me go out, generate a bunch of revenue in pre-sales, use that revenue to fund the development of the project, and then go out into the mainstream.
Yeah, what I'm trying to pin down here is what base you've built for yourself. So I love the model. You keep 100% control, no funding. Pre-sales is the way to go. The best investor is obviously the customer. So you bring in 1.4 top line. You're paying out about 30% to an affiliate. So that takes it down to about $1 million or maybe 900 grand. If I then take that 900 grand the 1.4, divide your 2,000 customers into it, that's basically
Sure.
2,000 payments of $700 a pop. And if you assume those are basically annually, if I divide by 12, then that's about $58 for those 2,000 people each month. You could argue you've built a base of about 100 grand in monthly recurring revenue. Do you look at the revenue like that, or no? Are these people you're not expecting them to keep paying year over year?
I would say that in any sort of projection that we've run, I'm probably more along the lines of a 25 to 45,000 a month when it comes to them, for them to actually recur, like for them to actually continue on and to upgrade. Because a lot of people, they're going to see that, hey, maybe this one wasn't for me, and they might not use it again in the year after. But the nice thing is what I've really done, and this was sort of my goal. My goal wasn't actually to build any recurring in this first year, which is we're just about to finish this year. It was just to get the product out there, get the point where I can actually develop it where I want it to be, because now basically I didn't want to embarrass myself, right, by releasing a product that wasn't what I wanted it to be. So now we're getting close to actually at the end of December releasing it to the stature that I was hoping for. And now I have, way more audience that I can actually go out and reach, more ads that I can run, and a better demographic for long-term recurring. And try to sort of corner the market on a yearly recurring fee versus a monthly, and just make it unlimited feature sets instead of the latter where you kind of, pricing goes up as you get more quote unquote subscribers or you do more.
So do you know yet? I mean, you've obviously, it sounds like you launched this just a year ago, right? 2016?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have a good sense yet in terms of what your churn is annually?
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I know that. So what I also did in an effort to decrease the churn, and a lot of people don't love doing this, is I created a buyers only Facebook group, kept it active the entire time, make sure that we actually discussed things, gave people new ideas. And so our group is still incredibly, incredibly active. That being said, when it comes to my churn, my drop off, anybody who's not going to be there in the new year, if they have to return, it'd be a guessing game. But thankfully, I wasn't banking on that piece just yet. With the new feature set, thankfully, we're going to be able to change the churn rate just because everything's going to be built in. And the way that we're doing it, and you guys will see hopefully as it comes out, but you'll see it's a lot more sticky. It's going to be integrated with your buyers' platforms and your notification sections. And the one thing about Messenger is it's not like an email platform, right? Like I can't go from Aweber to GetResponse. If you wanted to do that, you could export your list, your email list, and move it from one to the other. The problem with Messenger is it's based on where you get the authorization. So you can't move a Messenger list from one place to the next. So the idea being, creating a stickiness of sorts that makes it to where it's a good enough price that if you can't find value in it at that number, then
Travis, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but you can look. I mean, you're a software guy. I mean, a lot of the interviews we have here with companies that have built, I've probably had 20 CEOs on that have done and reached 100 million in revenue annually, and they always the number one thing they look at, they almost ignore price point, they ignore revenue, they just look at what's the one thing they have to get a new customer to do in the first 7 days where they know they're going to be sticky. Yours is pretty obvious. They have to set up a chatbot. Maybe they have to get their first 5 subscribers. I mean, you can look at your current base and tell me of the 2,000, how many have done that. And you can basically assume if they haven't done that, they're going to churn. So how are you looking at that data set?
Right. So Again, the software itself was a little bit more complicated. I've kind of schooled myself on UX, going through it kind of trial and error, to be honest. And so it was a little bit more complicated when we first launched it. But the good news is, I would say within 7 days, 60% of our members are active doing something. Now, the first thing that we changed was, that was one of my first questions in the new UX was, when I log into the software, what do I do? Thankfully, there's a couple of things that, even if you fall backwards through it, you're going to end up having some stuff going on, getting some momentum. So it's not necessarily creating a bot as much as it is using a bot, because there's a lot of cool features that a lot of people don't know about with bots that you can do kind of automatically. But
what's the value tied to, though? I mean, there is a moment where there's an aha moment. Is it the first subscriber? I mean, what is that moment?
Yeah, I mean, so subscribers is definitely one way where they're like, oh my God, this is going to be great. Broadcasting, because you can broadcast through Messenger. That's another way. But then the other, I think the best is, whenever somebody comments on a post on Facebook, you're allowed to send them a message, and that's through a chatbot. And so a lot of our users, I'd say probably 80% of our users, they're most commonly using that function where if somebody comments on a post on Facebook, it'll automatically reply with something. So they're attaching it to their ads. They're attaching
Which
it to
also
their
means
whatever.
they get opted in, right? I mean, if they get a reply, they're subscribed.
Technically, yeah. So as soon as it's a one-way message originally, but then as soon as that customer comments back, it would be a subscriber, an actual subscriber that you could then have more engagement with. But right out the gate, a lot of our customers, like, e-commerce, for instance, a great example, Shopify. Customers are promoting different products with Shopify and saying, hey, if you comment below, I'll give you a 10% discount, or I'll give you this. And so they're using those incentives to, lower their cost for ads and do all this. So we're making it to where that function is the easiest one to use because it's the most common. So as soon as you log in, that's what you're going to see.
Well, it's also the easiest way to get the first subscriber. It's just chat, right? So it makes it easy. So so far, the 2,000 you have on the platform, how many of them have gotten at least, one response to the comment stream where they've gotten at least one subscriber on?
Oh, actually, we're around 80. Last time I checked, we're around 80 to 85% of all of our users have at least considered one subscriber. They've gotten something that would be an action in response to something that they did. Basically, somebody subscribed to their chatbot in some way, which is, obviously it's phenomenal. But we do a lot of behind the scenes teaching and coaching, sort of how to use it and utilize the different features, because otherwise there would be that fall down. There'd be a ton of people who just weren't, able to figure out what they needed to do. A lot of that comes with training webinars and that kind of stuff.
Wait, Travis, so I'm confused. You just a minute ago said that only 60% are active, and you said that they've done at least something, but then you just said 80% have gotten at least one subscriber. Why are those? So
when I say active, I mean that are still using it on a regular basis. Most people they're going to go in, they might set something up, and then who knows if they log in again. We use, I'm sure you're familiar with Intercom, obviously. We use Intercom to kind of track when logins were and when was the last time. And so based on that, I'd say right around 60% are still active, but we've seen that about 80 to 85% of our accounts, and I don't have the actual number because we did this like 3 weeks ago, have at least one subscriber.
Got it.
But the good news is, we're right now with 2,000-ish customers, somewhere around that line. We've had bots connected to, I believe right now, about 44,000 fan pages. So obviously those 2,000, a lot of them are doing it for other people. They have multiple for themselves. And then we also had for a while, we had a free trial where you could get in and then leave. So obviously some of those customers attached fan pages and whatnot. But just seeing all of that data even was super helpful for us to see what they were doing in the first 24 hours. And the biggest thing that I learned was, I made a ton of mistakes, and I'm probably still going to make a ton of mistakes in the new one. But you learn and just keep moving. So
Now, is your only customer acquisition cost on this the 30% on the $700 annual sale? So that you're paying to affiliates.
That was the original. Aside from obviously overhead, but cost per sale. Most of my sales came from Facebook ads, running webinars. So there is that cost of webinar platforms or auto webinar platforms, and then Facebook ads. But we were still pretty positive. 50% cost is about what we would typically run at most, whether it's a JV affiliate relationship or if it's ads.
Got it. So sometimes you'll run ads, you'll have an ad payment, but also within a JV cut. But the worst you'll see is $350 in CAC.
Yeah, and so I would never run an ad and pay the affiliate commission unless we're doing a retargeting campaign. So that's a very minor amount of sales. But the straight up cold targeting, we don't end up having an affiliate sale on that because we know that came from us.
Yep, that makes good sense. Awesome. So, what percentage of these 2,000 do you think, once you get the real SaaS thing launched in a few months, what percent do you think are going to convert into kind of active paying folks?
Oh man, to be honest, I'm hoping that we can work hard enough. Like I'm hoping that we can actually dig deep enough into to get them, more active and to see what it is. I would say we're going to start off with a really healthy base of over 500.
Yeah.
I know that because
paying the $97 a month.
Oh yeah. I mean, we already have, I think right now 180 at that number, and that's the 97. So when we actually roll it out, we're going to have a $497 a year account where you can do one fan page for a year, $497 a year, breaks into like what, $38 a month or something. So other chatbot platforms get into the several hundreds. If you have thousands of subscribers, ours is going to be capped at $497 a year. So it's going to be, pretty opportune, but, that's sort of the initial goal there is to run that way. And again, we strategically didn't take on as many clients as we could have, just based on, you don't want to end up setting incorrect expectations, and you don't want people to think that there's something that they're supposed to get that they shouldn't be. So we said, hey, let's do what we need to do to fund the project, and then from there we'll kind of shut things down, and we're in that phase now.
Yep, you've got a healthy base. Yeah, you've got a healthy base. I mean, 150 customers. You said you have right now, right? Paying $97. That's 14 grand, I think, per month, and you're just only going to scale from there. You've got a good base to work with and good affiliate relationships.
Yeah, and so our goal in the new year is really leverage those affiliate relationships with the new platform, but then also we're going to be stable enough where we actually have two legs to stand on as opposed to one for our cold targeting. And that's kind of my background is a lot of Facebook traffic, YouTube traffic, some Google AdSense stuff or Google AdWords. But so that'll be the big push forward is getting into small markets and showing them how they can use it. So reaching out to financial advisors with an ad that says, hey, here's how financial advisors are benefiting from Chatmatic, and doing that all the way down the scale.
And what's your team size today, and where are you based? Everyone in Tampa?
No, actually, almost everybody's virtual. We have 2 in Tampa. We have a total of 8.
Okay. And you're just funding their salaries and stuff from the 1.4 you brought in, right?
I mean, most of it, obviously, yeah. We started the project with my own funding, but then since then, sales usually kind of keep the ball rolling.
Yep. Good stuff, Travis. Let's wrap up here with the famous 5 quick answers. Number 1, what's the last book you read?
Last book I read was Think Like a Freak.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
Man, just everybody. Elon Musk, he's making moves, right? So you just got to follow him.
Number 3, besides your own, what's your favorite online tool?
Good question. Email marketing platforms.
Whichever
one I use. I would say probably right now, SendLane. I like SendLane. It's a small one. It's good.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
At least 8.
And what's your situation? Married, single, you have kids? I think I heard one crying in the background.
Married,
right?
1 kid who's just over a year old, and just recently moved to Tampa, and super happy about all of it.
And how old are you, Travis?
32.
Last question. Take us back 12 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Oh, man, I wish my 20-year-old self knew how important being able to code was, because I have no coding capabilities right now. And if I had started at 20, I give myself that excuse all the time of, I'm too old now to learn, which I know I'm not, but I'm just too much in the grind. But I would have told my 20-year-old self it's more important to learn how to code than to go out and do, hang out with your friends.
There you guys have it from Travis. Learn to code easier. Launched the company in 2016, just recently, Chatmatic. They're now over 150 folks paying $97 a month after a very healthy alpha launch that brought in about $1.4 million in capital for him to use to get the SaaS product launched off the ground. Bootstrapped, which I love. Too early to look at churn and all that yet. Spending about $210 to $350 max on customer acquisition cost. Looking to scale here with his remote team of 8 into 2018. Travis, thank you so much for taking us to the top.
I appreciate it. Thank you.